Chase DeLauter earned his first official MLB accolade. What else has he earned? We'll discuss that. Plus live updates as the Guardians battle the Dodgers out west, trying to keep this early season road trip off to a good start on today's Locked On Guardians.
Tanner Bibee of the Guardians, and you're listening to Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, Guardians fans? Welcome on into another episode of Locked On Guardians here on Tuesday, March 31st. Recording this in progress as the Guardians and Dodgers, I believe, are headed to the top of the second inning, or it's still the bottom of the first inning as we start this off. This is Locked On Guardians, the only daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians that covers your team every day, from the majors, the minors, the draft, everything in between. I almost said I'm Jeff Ellis, but I'm not Jeff Ellis. Maybe we'll have that another day this week. I'm Justin Lada, one of your co-hosts here for the last 4 years, along with Jeff Ellis, my friend and co-host, and we've both been covering the Guardians minor league system for over almost 2 decades now, honestly. All right, Jeff, so on today's show, we will react to the Guardians and Dodgers game live as we're recording as it starts out in LA. We'll talk about what happened in the minors over the weekend. We will discuss where on earth Rhys Hoskins is. Have you seen him? Is he on a milk carton? Does Carmen Sandiego know where he is? We'll discuss the roster moves that brought Kolby Allard back. And once again, Jeff, today it's Locked On Chase DeLauter, Player of the Week. And is it too soon to be talking extension? Jeff is speechless.
Well, I was just waiting for you to do that. I'm used to having a title sponsor, so I was waiting for the title sponsor there, which you don't have this
year. Do not have.
So that I was just like, okay, so title sponsor. I think it is. Listen, I absolutely love what Chase DeLauter's done. I think he's going to have a fantastic year for the parts of he's healthy during, but he is a player who is going to he'll turn. This is his age 24 year. You've got him through age 30. You can kind of wait and see. I think for both sides that there's a degree of wait and see. And the one thing I've had people getting mad at me because I'm not ready to say, oh, I was wrong after 3 games. Did we learn nothing about 8 years of this podcast? I need data. I need time. I don't really make any snap assumptions on this roster, much like the front office, until June. I got to wait and see how things develop. We can go through it, and he's been fantastic. Everything with him's been great. I wouldn't be rushing into anything with any player with that injury history, though. Like I said, he got 6 more years minimum. So, yeah.
I don't know if I show up to a job and I am the employee of the week, my first week on the job, I'm looking for a raise. That's just me. If I'm the best employee in the entire company for the first week I'm employed, technically, I'm looking for a raise. That's just what I'm saying.
That's nice, but that's not how baseball works. So it doesn't matter. He can come and be like, hey, do I get something for this? And the answer is no. But at the end of the year, you might. If you get enough of those, then you get more of that pool of money. So yes, it's not right now.
He does have that to bank on for sure. Yeah. I mean, if he wins rookie of the year, it doesn't matter because he's gonna be. He
started the year with the team, so that they did not manipulate service time at all. They were just like, okay, whatever. This is going to be a full year. There's no
right. It doesn't matter from that perspective, and he'll be a super 2.
It's just so every team pays into this pool, and I don't remember. I think it's $2-3 million that every team pays in, and then it gets distributed amongst all players who are pre-arb, and higher amounts go to better players. Stephen Kwan earned something like $3.5 million from that pool before he ever even got to arbitration. So there is that. That's it does make it so players don't feel quite as forced to accept early contracts, which is the other thing with someone like Chase DeLauter. He had a nice big bonus when he signed. He plays well this year. He's going to get another few million. He doesn't need to rush it. If he is legitimately going to be an all-star level talent, an MVP level talent, which is what he's looked like in these early games, and you and I have never debated the talent. It's always been the health.
Right.
So
at
it's
the last couple of years.
Yeah. He's kind of, because there was times where I was worried about the swing. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's worked for him. I had concerns with Zach Neto's swing, and you know what? It's worked great for him as well. Sometimes you can have an ugly swing, you can have some moving parts, and it doesn't affect things. But it's that situation where he doesn't have to feel rushed in anything because he's probably going to collect a few $1 million at the end of the year on top of his salary.
Correct. Yeah, I think you just kind of scratched out my argument. I was going to say, given the injury history, would he have more incentive to try to take a guarantee?
I think so. I think that's still a right point of view.
Yeah, I could still see it. Like, okay, like I know you're saying you don't want to do it at this point because of he obviously it's too soon, and I don't think the Guardians are going to be doing it next week. Like I know we talked about this off air. Like it's been a while since the Guardians announced an extension in April. There is history where they've done it before the home opener. There was Kipnis and Gomes and Carrasco
11 or 12 years ago. They haven't done a decade is what we found. Unless if we miss someone, please comment in the comments and let us know. We occasionally forget someone.
Yeah, usually it's spring training before the season even starts. That doesn't mean they couldn't do it again, but I mean I think it's okay to sit there and maybe try to talk to DeLauter next spring. Whenever that starts, like God, spring training could be in like May next year for all we know.
I know they wouldn't do it, but I'm also like, talk to him at the All-Star break. If he's not an All-Star, you got some downtime. Like I've always wondered, like other teams occasionally knock out those midseason contracts. Cleveland never does.
True. That's true.
But I'll say this: Cleveland's front office, I always give them credit. They also are the team that's like we believe in breaks and everyone being refreshed. So I think that's part of the reason that doesn't happen.
Maybe.
But yeah, it would be nice to see them do that. Like, I'm not opposed. Let's say if they can work out an extension, if there was one, I want to say that. I guess it's more that I am from the perspective of I don't think it's super likely than anything else.
I don't think it is right now too. And like obviously, like if you said you got him to what age 30 right now?
Yeah, he would essentially hit because you get him for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Sorry, so he'd hit free agency at age 30.
Yeah, so I don't know how comfortable you'd have to get and how far you'd go. Like
that, I think if you do it right, you make those option years, right? Like if you increase the money,
age 32,
make those all team options. There's quite a few young players who have gotten those contracts with those, the 7th and 8th year. I think in Tanner even like those the 7th and 8th year, the added years,
that's what
team option years. Same thing with Class A. His extra years were option years. So
yeah, you know what I'll be interested in seeing is if there is any attempt, whether it's happening now or if it happens next spring, to approach DeLauter about an extension, the involvement of David Blitzer. Like I'm very curious to see how that plays into it because obviously he's already going to be paying the back half of Jose's final contract.
They said he was involved in the Jose, like it was the first time he was really involved in anything was Jose's extension.
Yeah, because he would be very involved as the years go on with Jose, and DeLauter would be one of those big cases. Like, if you read, I know Zach Meisel did a great piece before opening day about the timeline for Blitzer, and the option is there for him to take over as majority owner at the end of next season. Doesn't mean he has to. He can wait it out. And I know he wrote that they've explored real estate deals, and nothing's really panned out so far, as on that side of things. Which
it's hard because there's not a lot of area around that stadium to do the Village.
Yeah, they would have. Well, they would have to buy out. Like they already bought the Gateway East garage. They own that, and they contracted that out. So they're getting the revenue off that garage right next to them in Rocket Arena. They have to buy out like the bars and the parking lots and build it that way. So I don't know what's really feasible there. So like that's kind of a wait and see thing. But yeah, just in general, I'll be very curious to see like if these talks do happen with DeLauter, whether it's now or next year, what his level of involvement would be. Because like you said, I would definitely go age 32, and like you have the leverage at least with like, hey, like you only played 80 games 2 years ago or the last 2 years, so get some bank money now. And if you're healthy when you get to age 32 as an outfielder, you'll still get paid if you're playing good. Like. And the thing is, the financial landscape of baseball could be so different in 8 years, which might also be an incentive for DeLauter to take the money too, because of the uncertainty.
Because what we've seen, and again, it was Class A, and Straw was the other guy who had those as well with the buyouts. It could be something where it's like, I don't know how much it'd be. I don't know if it'd be like 28 million or 25 million, but it's that situation where it's like 25 million with a $5 million buyout. So even if he ends up being like not a great player, it's like he still collects that money at the end. It's a higher buyout, but we've seen a lot of teams do that. I think if we looked at Lawrence Butler's contract, it's like that. So the more I think of it, the more I think, I would love to see him approach it and do one of those where it's like all those extra years you're buying in are just team options where and I know people are like, oh, they'll just opt out because they're cheap. That's not how this works. That's not how this team has. When they have a guy under contract, they've been, outside of Andres Jimenez, they'll trade him. They're not going to cut him. Yeah. But it's like, in Jimenez,
they traded,
get out from
that. Traded Jimenez, Straw. They traded Carrasco actually, and they traded Straw too. So I mean, there is a possibility for that as well. All right. We'll talk more about the roster moves that happened before Monday night's game. Doug Nikhazy is no longer on the 40-man roster. Kolby Allard is back. And where in the world is Rhys Hoskins? Can you find him on a map? We'll talk about that next. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You could buy or sell your positions live all game long. You can use your sports knowledge in the moments that actually matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can shift with it. Always felt like I knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now you can actually take part live in a market that's powered by real people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you get to decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risks and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission, merchant, and swap firm. And look, Major League Baseball, the season is back. You feel like it. The fresh starts, big expectations, and that breakout rookie, Chase Slaughter, the division race, they'll probably go down to the wire in the AL Central. Nothing like being at the ballpark for it. The only problem, getting tickets, that could be a real hassle, right? Surprise fees at checkout. Sometimes the game's still a little bit packed. That's where there's Game Time. Game Time gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences with only a few taps. Very simple to use. Game Time guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And the best part is the fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. Look, opening day is coming up this Friday. I know in Cleveland it's sold out. So maybe you're still looking to get a ticket. Game Time's a good place to find the best price on that. And if you're kind of waiting out the weather, you're also going to want to do that with Game Time as well. So you're not committing to anything. 2 taps, you're done. Get great seats in minutes. Makes it so easy to decide last minute. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create account. Use code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Woohoo! Baseball is back, and we're celebrating by getting a full free month of the Everydayer Club. Go to LockedOnGuardians.supercast.com. Use code FINALLY, all caps, FINALLY. You can unlock every episode of Locked On Guardians ad-free. You get access to our private listener group chat. Tap the link in the show notes. Use the code FINALLY to claim your free month. And we are over here talking about this game right now over on our Discord, and got a nice line drive right to Kyle Manzardo to end the inning. Parker Messick has been aggressive so far. I've been very happy with the approach because given how badly command was or I should say control, for Gavin, Ciccone, Cantillo, it's nice to see Parker pound the strike zone here early on and get some first pitch outs.
Also, probably it's got to be a bit warmer in LA than it was in
yes, there is that.
So it's was it just very quickly on that note, in case you missed it, Gavin said he noticed something in his mechanics. So we had cold weather and mechanics. Slade Ciccone was sick yet in his game. I think Cantillo with the cold weather just could not grip his change, which is his best pitch. And if you look at it as a positive, his slider, right, was kind of deadly in that game, which is a newer pitch for him. So if he gets the change on with the slider, Cantillo could be up and away.
Yeah, his velocity was up early on too, which is interesting with the cold weather. He couldn't grip the changeup, but early on his fastball velocity was up a mile or two. And we also heard that maybe that's why Ciccone's fastball velocity was down too. But the metrics were better. He was getting better ride on the fastball. He was getting.
He's doing some different things with it. His velocity might be lower this year, but it still might be a better pitch.
Could be better, yeah. So Doug Nikhazy, one of my favorite draft picks from Ole Miss, I know didn't have the best control, and I knew there were issues when they drafted him, but I was excited about the potential. And
second round cursed for this team. Yeah, second round cursed. Second rounds get around really bad for Cleveland over the years.
Yeah, so he's off the 40. He's going to go through DFA limbo now, because Kolby Allard is back, and they option Collard Holderman down just because he's the only guy in the pen with options, or besides Tim Herron. But it didn't make sense to option Herron down, obviously, because they needed somebody in the bullpen either for tonight, Monday night, just in case things didn't go well with Parker Messick, or I assume maybe as a little bit of emergency if Tanner pitches on when Tanner is going to pitch on Tuesday, he is a scheduled starter now, but just God forbid something still pops up with that shoulder, so they have some length there.
I think that was the main thought process. I think it was important, but I think it was the Tanner concern.
Yeah, if he doesn't pitch Monday, then he's available on Tuesday, which is a good option. I mean, hey, good for. I mean, I feel bad for Doug Nikhazy. We'll see what happens. I won't be surprised if someone claims him. Like the Braves are in a rock and a hard place with pitching right now.
Do you know who has the highest WAR of any second round pick since Jason Kipnis?
Since Jason Kipnis. So what? Kipnis was 2009 or 2010?
2009.
Nick Sandlin?
Nolan Jones. 5 highest WARs all time, and they've had a lot of second round picks. Albert Bell, Jason Kipnis, Sean Casey, Neil Heaton, John Farrell. You want to go to 6? Herbert Perry. Stephen Wright,
Austin Hedges
pitched in the big league.
Double. Got Austin Hedges on second base to lead off the.
He had he still runs pretty well for his size too. I mean, it's not great, but for a guy his age and size, he runs pretty well.
That was a weird swing, by the way. That ball went down the right field line. It was very weird.
He had a fantastic September.
He did. Yeah, we'll take a leadoff double here. I don't know what Martinez will do, but he got an out. So I think he butted him over. My game day is ahead of the game, but yeah, that's fine. You know what? I'd rather have Martinez butt him to third because the way Martinez swings the bat, you can get a fly ball from Stephen Kwan. That seems to be all Stephen Kwan can do right now is pop up the other way. So
I mean, he has had a few hits. Gosh, I can't believe I'm the Kwan defender. He's been okay early. It's been hit or miss. He's either he's like this team. Either it's been a good game or it's been something to forget about.
Yeah, I don't mind playing the small ball here at the bottom of the order with Martinez, though.
No, I don't either. I mean, normally I'm not a fan of bunting, but I don't mind it here at all.
At that spot in the order, I think you do it for sure.
Nope, I don't have an issue here.
Yeah, especially when you're turning the lineup over to Kwan and DeLauter. Absolutely.
Yep.
Speaking of that, so I'll be curious to see if Nikhazy gets claimed or not. But Rhys Hoskins, apparently, I don't know, did he insult Stephen Voigt's
Maybe they got mad about him doing that terrible run from third. We haven't seen him since that. I mean, that's my only theory, and that is not anything inside. That is me just making stuff up because it's just
I don't like the idea of him sitting 3 days in a row. We talked about it off air, and looks like Kwan's going to drive in a run here, so the Guardians are going to take a 1-0 lead on a double down the line. I'm going to guess. Just I'm looking at
you are way ahead of me. I'm at 2-0 right now.
I'm just looking at game day. Yeah, it's a double RBI double for Stephen Kwan. So the Guardians sack bunt plays off to get him a quick run on the board in the third. But yeah, I like the idea of Hoskins sitting 3 days in a row. I understand that Manzardo is your guy. He's first base, and you want to leave DH open for Jose and DeLauter on certain days, or at least DeLauter and Jose's typical day on Sunday is his DH day. But 3 days in a row is a little ridiculous. I think you can afford to sit either Manzardo or DeLauter and just play Hoskins, and because DeLauter, I'm still surprised he's playing 5 days in a row. I'm not mad about it, but I'm surprised. But I think you could get him a day of rest, or just let Manzardo take a day off. It's not like he's been great so far. So I think 3 days in a row for Hoskins to start the year. He plays 2, he misses 3. I don't really like that because Vogt's been saying he wants to get everybody involved. He wants everyone to play in every series, and I know Hoskins played 2 out of the first 4, but you got to plan it better where you're making sure guys aren't missing 2 or 3 days in a row. I think that's a little bit much.
I think the planning is the key part here. I don't necessarily, part of our off-air debate was Hoskins is a 1-year guy, $1.5 million. He kind of knew when he came here. It was a part-time role. And Manzardo is part of this team's future. So even with his struggles, I don't benching him down. But then you have to figure out a better way. I think if DeLauter wasn't riding the heater, there's a good chance that he wouldn't have DH'd the third game. He just would have rested.
Maybe.
And they're, right now he's having the great run. So it's they're kind of afraid to put him down. I feel like that's maybe the situation now. They're, when he's maybe a little bit colder. But I do think you have to figure out, as you said, a better approach. It can't be these 3 games in a row. You need to let people in. And Hoskins, outside of that boneheaded run, Like he had a great
Was
first
good.
game. He
Yeah.
got on base. He is a guy who traditionally is better in the first half of the year as well. So it's another reason to keep him out there and get him out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this is part of the problem when you sign a first baseman. Like that's just. And again, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I agree with all the choices. I'm glad he's here. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think that's one of those things they need to figure out and just do a better job with in general.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think planning ahead and looking at your lineups, looking at your matchups the next couple of days and seeing who you can get a day off, and you can always change it if a guy comes in and needs a rest or something. And
DeLauter's just walked off after looking like he. Oh, that's gonna
walked
be fun.
off.
Yeah, in the middle of his swing, he
Oh God, he fouled the ball off his foot. You're saying?
Yep, fouled it right off his foot. So when we
You said
come back,
walked
we'll
off.
discuss it.
You said
Sorry.
walked off, and I'm thinking he left the game. Like,
No, he just walked to the side. It's just like I see him react. I mean, that's the thing. It's pins and needles with this guy anymore. Like
it is.
He's so good.
Is.
We're gonna spend this whole year with him on pins and needles. It's always gonna be a concern.
Every catch, every time he's running. Yeah, he's back in the box though.
He's back. He's fine. But
we're good.
Man,
we're good. We'll
sorry,
talk.
I just had a mini heart attack. I apologize.
He takes a walk, and that sets up Jose Ramirez with 2 on and 1 out, and we love that. All right, we got to talk about what's happened in the minors so far too. We've seen some rehabs. We've seen some great names get back on the mound. It is tax time. Boy, that deadline's coming up quick. For a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes really is a lot. You're trying to book an appointment. That's not the most convenient. You're sitting in a waiting room with your stack of papers, or you're emailing back and forth, wondering if the person you're talking to really gets the situation you're in with your taxes. This year, you are getting a major upgrade. Into TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide, so you can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert and get your documents uploaded straight to your TurboTax app right on the spot. And just like that, you're done. TurboTax expert is working to get you every dollar that you deserve, and you're getting real-time notifications so you can go along about your day and not worry about this kind of stuff. It is the relief of walking in and meeting a real person. How often do you get to do that these days? And walk out knowing your taxes were handled exactly the way you needed them to be done. So head on over to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book an appointment before it's too late. Appreciate all of you, as always, making Locked On Guardians your first listen today, every day, wherever it is that you get podcasts. We appreciate you being here every single day with us, riding the highs and lows of the 2 games they won in Seattle and 2 games that they lost, and staying up late talking about the Guardians and Dodgers here. I guess we probably could have gone live. Maybe tomorrow we'll do a live show.
I meant to bring that up.
Yeah.
And then I just blanked.
I think Tuesday night we'll do a live show. Tanner versus Shohei. That'll be a lot of fun. So we'll join in progress live on YouTube on Tuesday night now that we're talking about it. And Jose strikes out. That's a bummer. Figures DeLauter gets on.
He expanded a bit.
Yeah, DeLauter got on with the walk, and Quan was already on, and of course Jose has an opportunity.
Well, now we're going to see why Manzardo is in here right now, right? He's going to just sit here and disprove that he should be sitting. He's going to go bury Rhys Hoskins on the bench even further. Hopefully, is what I'm hoping. That's a bummer, though. I mean, I was so excited for Jose to have DeLauter walk in front of him and give him the opportunity to hit with somebody on. But I think he's a slow starter. We know traditionally, like
he is. I think that's also the case that Jose wants to come through. He wants to do something, so he doesn't like to walk in those situations because he wants to bring guys in. And Manzardo does not take advantage of his playing time that he has not earned yet this season. I know last year he was good, but all right. So let's talk a little bit about the minor leagues. We promised we'd do some minor league Monday. I know you're listening to this on a Tuesday, but we're recording this on a Monday, so we're going to call it Minor League Monday. First thing you should know is Hunter Gaddis on Saturday.
I don't know. I got to be honest.
He rehabbed with the Clippers. He threw 19 pitches. He topped out at 93.8, so the velocity wasn't fantastic, but that's okay.
It was cold there as well. It was one of the things I heard about that game.
It was in Iowa. It was in the 50s, so same thing of the Guardians pitchers going from 100-degree heat in Arizona to 50-degree weather in Seattle and Iowa, apparently for Gaddis. But he was fine. He walked a batter. He struck out a batter. I will say I thought it was interesting. He threw a lot of sliders. Last year that he sort of lost his feel for his changeup at times, and he went very slider heavy. He did not throw a lot of he threw like 1 or 2 changeups in his rehab outing. So I'll be very curious to watch him.
Which could be part of the cold too. We know the changeup is harder to grip in the cold. So
Could be. So he's
Yeah.
got to make at least, I think he's going to make a couple more rehab appearances. He'll come home with the team as they head to Columbus on Tuesday night to host, I believe, Indianapolis for the week. So if you're down in Columbus or, close to it, you can go check out Hunter Gaddis. You can check out Juan Brito, who's off to a great start. He played first base on Sunday. He's played mostly third base. I wish they would put him in the outfield down there.
Agreed.
I think the outfield's his best path up to the majors at this point, because obviously it's not third. It's not going to be second. Rhys Hoskins can't even play, so I don't know how it would be Brito at first base. So, I don't know. If we can deal with CJ Kayfus in left, can we deal with Juan Brito in left?
Can we deal with CJ Kayfus in left? It's just that situation.
I don't know.
A lot of people were like, okay, let's end the Quan experiment. It's too important.
That has been an issue for sure.
I'd be remiss.
I will say Kayfus has played more outfield than Brito, and he probably is a better outfield than Brito. So it is what it is. But he's off to a good start. He got off to a really good start offensively a year ago.
Yep.
And then he had the thumb surgery.
Him and Nolan Jones are like neck and neck for the hottest hitter in AAA.
Yeah, Nolan Jones has 2 home runs in 2 games.
That's half of the home runs for Columbus.
Yeah, Jones has looked really good so far. I don't know. Maybe Jones regains some confidence, and he figures out how to be a little more patient, but on the right side. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happens there, but
nor am I.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's looking good. And then Petey Halpin's looked really good so far. I mean, I wonder at what point too you consider
Halpin. He's batting 143.
Okay, he had a couple of good first games. I guess he had doubled and homer in his first 2 games, and I guess he hasn't done much since then.
Yeah, it's Bazzana's, playing well, getting on base. It's it is buoyed a bit by walks, but he's had multiple extra base hits.
He's got a double and a triple for so far. He's hit the ball really well. He's done. Yeah. I think he's 2 for 3 on ABS challenges as a hitter. So he's doing a really good job. Now I will say, people are watching. I don't know if you've seen. Well, your cat is really aggressive tonight.
Yeah, Sorry, everyone.
Your cat is really aggressive at Mike. So if you've seen the StatCast data on ABS challenges so far to start 2026, it shows that catchers have done really well challenging pitches and hitters have not. And I'm sitting here saying Bazzana's 2 for 3 in the minors. That doesn't mean, Bazzana might have a great eye, and I know he does, but let's also remember AAA umpires probably not as good as Major League umpires. And they might be better they're probably better than CB Buckner, but CB Buckner, to be fair, should also be a AAA umpire at this point. So
that might be generous.
That could be generous. Yeah. I think he and Angel Hernandez could start his school.
Well, Buckner wasn't the worst. There was someone who literally was every single challenge had been overturned. There was one umpire worse than CB Buckner, but yeah. Just also want to throw out in terms of guys playing well. A lot of people have been intrigued by Milan Tolentino in the early going, and he's got a double and a home run and a lot of walks. Also, striking out a bit, but that's his game. He's there's definitely some defense, some pop, and some swing and miss. So,
that's not. Oh no, I think is Parker Messick hurt? There's an injury delay.
No, Jose is gimping.
Oh,
it's Jose who's gimping right now on there.
They kind of stepped on each other going for that bunt. Dalton Varsho. Oh no, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, okay. He's shaking his head. Oh boy.
He jumped over him and then he went after the ball, so it's he didn't go down. I think he might have twisted something.
He's had some early season.
Messick that was Hunter Messick. Yeah, that's not you just kind of let that go. If him trying to dive for a ball is you don't want your pitcher diving. Did
he come down on his knee weird? Oh, he's twisted his knee, I think.
Yeah, I think he just came down weird on it. I think it probably hurt.
Yeah, okay.
But if he had done damage, he would have gone down, right?
Yeah, it's Jose. It's tough to get him out of the game. Yeah, Parker's back to pitching, so we're okay.
Everyone's okay. But I would just tell Parker, don't dive for it. If you can't get to it right away, you die, and they're stopping the game again. Or no, that's Vogt running off the field. Sorry, my fault.
Yeah, we're good. No, I just doesn't. And Ohtani's up with 2 on to start the third, so that's not great. But anyway,
yeah. I would just, again, it's the little things you got to talk with these guys about. don't dive. You're a pitcher. We need you to be healthy. Don't dive. Trust your infield. You got really great defenders.
Don't take out Jose, please.
Yeah, you got really great because like Jose probably gets to that and you at least get an out in that situation as opposed to nothing. Jose was right there. I bet Jose gets to it and makes the throw, but yeah, just little things, right? Oh, come stay. It was just kind of, I don't know. I saw him swing at a pitch and pop it up, and I'm just at that point in the game where I'm like, please just pop up. Let's get an out on the board here. Because the Dodgers team, they're relentless. There's no.
It's a tough lineup. Yeah, well, because you let Rojas double to start the inning, and then Russian gets on. So guess what? That's the same as the Guardians. Like you had 8-9 do something there. When you get back to 1 and 2, it's pretty brutal. I mean, 1 through 6 in this lineup is brutally tough. And then like Max Muncy's not a slouch. He's not as good as he used to be.
Still and then can do some damage.
And then Rojas typically isn't good unless it's Game 7 of the World Series.
But if you got Will Smith in instead of Rushing, then that extends that lineup even more. Yeah. And like, I mean, it's just
tough lineup. It's tough lineup.
It's a tough lineup, and it's only going to get better with some of those young players that are coming up for them. And the fact that they got James Tibbs for free because Boston is done. Why couldn't we have traded them like a mediocre pitcher for James Tibbs? Who could we have given them last year? Who would have been?
Who did Boston get for that? I forget.
Dustin May, a rental of Dustin May. No less.
Oh, that's right. And he's Dustin May made his first start yesterday for the Cardinals, and he looked terrible. Who would have been equivalent? I mean, would you have given Daniel Espino up for?
No, I think they wanted someone more proven because they wanted someone who could help them down the stretch. They wanted someone.
I don't know who that would have been though.
Yeah, I don't know who would have been either. Did they?
Cantillo? We got a manager's challenge of something going on here.
Well, they threw to second. They thought they had him picked off at second base here, is what we're seeing. They thought that they might have had Rojas picked off at second.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Speaking of Daniel Espino, he also pitched after Hunter Gaddis this weekend.
And good call. We forgot to mention him.
Yes, as I mentioned, Espino. So he only threw 7 pitches. He topped out at 96, so that's good. Didn't get any strikeouts, but he didn't allow any hard hits either. And looks like I can't tell what they're with this call. But he was really good. It was a very effortless inning, not a lot of hard contact. I was glad to see him out in the cold. Like he pitched in the cold first series of the year. I think you're really encouraged by that. I'll be very curious to see when his next appearance is because I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, he's out. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland still goes with him every 5 days. Yeah, he's out. He's leaving the field. So the Guardians get him out. Nice pick off by Parker Messick. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Espino still stays on every 5 days just for now and kick the can down the road on the decision. Like, let's just go every 5 days, see how he feels. And
agreed.
If by June we're still doing this or May, if we're still doing this and he feels good, let's test 2. Let's test 3 every time, like increase it every time out. So we'll see what happens.
It makes a lot of sense. It just makes too much sense to do anything other than that.
The good news is though, he pitched. He pitched well. It was effortless, and there was no signs of like anything after. So like really good positive things from Daniel Espino, which is always good. I thought it was interesting too. Yorman Gomez was scratched from his start. Messick he got Ohtani out, so that's good. So looks like it was a deep out, but looks like the Guardians are avoiding maybe some.
Let's not jinx it.
Yeah. One more
tough lineup. You still got Tucker next, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So Yorman Gomez was supposed to pitch on Sunday. He did not. I haven't heard any reason why he didn't. So we'll see if he re-enters the rotation for this week with Columbus. I know Logan Allen. I know people have asked about Logan Allen and Franco Alaman. To my knowledge, I can confirm the fact I know Allen's in Arizona just in case he was needed to go to LA this series, which the Guardians have done before, where they start the season. Like Ben Lively last year stayed in Arizona because he knew he wasn't going to pitch the first series. So guys will stay in after as like a taxi squad member, just so it's easier. And he stays closer to LA. So I believe, I can't confirm, but I believe Franco Alaman is in Arizona too, just in case there was a need to bring him to LA to like an extra body. So that's where those guys are. At least I know Logan Allen is there, but it doesn't seem like they'll need Logan Allen, and hopefully they won't need Franco Alaman. But that's what's going on in the minors. The rest of the minor leagues don't open up until Thursday, so that'll be fun. I know Braylon Dowdy is on the captain's roster. I think Luis Morejo is there, which is weird. I didn't think he was ready for Lake County. Akron, I think everybody kind of knows who's going to be in Akron. And then I don't know anything about Hill City at this point, but Lake County will be a bunch of guys who could pitch and probably not hit. And we'll see where Jace Lavalette ends up. I think it'll be Lake County, but hard to say. All right, got struck out swinging. So good inning for Parker Messick. So the Guardians lead the Dodgers 1-0 after 3 innings. That wraps up this episode. We will come back to you on Wednesday. We'll talk about game 1. We'll talk about game 2. We'll preview game 3. We'll look ahead to the home opener, all that fun stuff. So thank you for tuning in while you did. Check out the Everydayer Club and catch you tomorrow.
Thank you. And go, Guardians, go.